Hello, buddy. E-bike snobbery is what I want to have a chat about today. What brought this all about, you say? Well, quite simply, a couple that I bumped into yesterday on their Cube, brand new match pair Cube e-bikes with the matching saddlebags. What these people don't realise is when they walk into these so-called e-bike dealers, these I'm not talking about Mandarin Cycles or Evolution or any of those, which are like chain shops, Halfords. These are specific e-bike dealers. We got one in Halesworth near where I live. You walk in there and it's like a bastion of the middle classes. It's a bit like a BMW dealership, yeah? You walk in and it's all, oh yes sir, how can we help you sir? Oh yes, don't buy any other makes of e-bikes, they're going to catch fire, or they're going to have this, that and the other, they're going to last 5 minutes. You need one of these, crank drive, Bosch, they last for ages, You're only going to do 200 miles a year on it and stick it in the shed until somebody steals it, and it costs you £5,000, but we don't worry about this, we've got good contents insurance, And they get on these bloody things. They're always spotlessly clean because obviously they ain't being used. And they look at you up and down when you're on your Carrera Vengeance e-bike like you're a bit of shit on a shoe. What makes me laugh is, if these bikes are so fucking good, why don't any delivery people use them? And I've seen delivery people out on bikes which are easily £2,000, but they always use hub drives. It seems funny to me that none of them have got crank drives. Because there's one major flaw with a crank drive, and everybody I know owns one and does any miles on one at all has told me they eat gears. Because you're forcing that derailleur in the back wheel constantly with the crank. Thing about a hub drive is it pushes the bike along, yeah? And you're literally just turning the pedals, and if you ease off and still turn the pedals, you'll still go along. The problem with crank drive is it's assisting you turning the crank. So even if you're going up a hill and you're in a high gear, you're forcing that chain, and you're only on a standard Shimano gears assembly, gear cluster and that. And then they wonder why they eat chains, they fuck up, they chew up bloody cogs. They, generally speaking, they can be expensive to run. It depends how you use them, of course. I mean, if you ride around like bloody, you don't use them to their full potential, then yeah, I mean, they probably will. But I've looked at buying a crank drive, I'll be perfectly honest with you, because everybody says, oh yeah, they're the way to go. But I had to go on one, and I can't see whether they're any different anyway. And to be fair, one of my bikes has done over 10,000 miles now, and the other one has done, 1,700 miles? And they're so easy to fix and what have you, and parts are dirt cheap now. I mean, crank sensors now, I picked them up anything from 15 quid to 35 quid on eBay. So even if I take out a crank sensor, it don't bother me now. I keep a spare one in the shed. And apart from that, those Suntour motors on them Vengeances, they just seem to last forever. And the batteries are good as well. I got one battery that's got like 450 duty cycle on it, and that still gets me 20 miles. You got to remember, I'm a fat bastard. I weigh 105 kilos. I'm pretty much to the limit what the bike will carry. I think the limit's 115 or 110. So, of course, consequently, my missus, she can get nearly 30 miles out of her bike, but she weighs fuck all. Me, I'm a big fat lump. I've got 2 batteries on my bike and a bag on the back. I'm lucky if I get 22 out of mine. But, at the end of the day, why do people have to think that they're better? It's like the crank drive bikes are the BMWs of the fucking e-bike world. So not only now do I get looked at like I'm shit from the fucking lycra-clad fucking carbon fibre drop bar brigade, but I also get looked shit at my own kind of fucking e-bikers because I ain't got the right one. Oh well. Fuck them, that's what I say. I'll drive what I want to drive, and while they're just sitting in the shed waiting to be stolen, I'm out there doing it. I'm averaging 400 miles a month, So, and there she be, sitting there, look, bike to work this morning, on charge. Oh, by the way, that's a little hint for you. Never charge batteries off the bike, always charge them on the bike. You'll get lots less error codes and what have you, okay? Since I've started just charging purely on the bike, I get very few error codes now. I used to get quite a few when I used to take them off the bike. Why that is, I don't know, but must be something to do with taking the battery on and off. Okay, speak to you all later. And oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. It's great if you subscribe.